for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody, Marion County Commission meeting, Monday, January 12th, 2026, 12:30 p.m. Start off with public forum. Everybody in the public speak. Keep it 3 minutes. Everybody online. Hearing none, I'll close the public forum. And we'll move on to the reorganization of the board.
Okay, so if you still want to do a ballot, that's fine. I did send you the statute regarding open meetings. And so the vote will have to be revealed regardless, whether you do it by voice or by ballot. So I do have the ballots prepared, and then I've got a line for you to put your name on it, so we know and can disclose after the vote
I don't think we need it. Yeah, we'll just do local.
Okay, sounds good.
Don't need to make it complicated.
Cut down the paperwork.
So this time we'll take we have 2 nominations, self-nominations. Anybody would like to make a motion? Motion to appoint Clark Dirks as self-nomination.
I'll make a motion to appoint Dave.
I believe you have to deal with the motion that's on the floor. So the,
That motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
3-2, fails.
I'll make a motion to accept the nomination of Dave Crowfoot.
Motion,
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
We'll go along with what it's gonna go with, so.
okay.
4-1.
And then you've got the vice chair.
I nominate Kent Becker.
Have a nomination of Kent Becker.
Second to.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
You don't have to abstain, it doesn't benefit you.
Right.
Aye. All those opposed?
Aye.
4-1. And vice chair. In the event
Do we
that the both of
need, do we
you,
need that, do we?
it saves a 15-minute conversation down the way, if it ever happens.
Can we call it an alternate vice chair instead of a
alternate.
vice vice?
Yeah, an alternate vice chair.
Thank you.
I would nominate Clark Dirks.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 5-0. And with that, you want to trade me seats?
Here's Switch the name tags.
Yeah. Okay.
Switch that thing today. You could just switch the chairman's sign to there.
Yeah, we can do that for now. That's all right.
Just switch that.
If you guys decide, we don't have a
You want
preference.
here or you want over here?
I'm gonna go over there where Clark is and shift him over, because that's the order of progression,
Okay.
so. Clark's okay with that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. later.
I was serious.
Hi, my name's Johnny Garen. Yeah.
I've seen you before.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to sit next to you.
Johnny, you need this?
Yeah. Thank you.
If I give you the credit, don't blame me.
Okay, ready?
Yep, okay.
Okay.
So don't die of thirst.
Okay, get a motion to approve the agenda. Is there any additions to it? Not seeing any. A second for that.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That's 5-0.
Ready for administrative business? Okay, all right, first we have the minutes of January 5th.
Any additions or corrections? I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I didn't print them off because I didn't know who was gonna be chairman, so I'll come for you next week, okay? All right, we have early checks and the amount of $24,640.27. We did receive a letter from Brad stating that, for the approval. And he is present online. Yes.
I have a question regarding the enterprise fleet management payments. We got lease management payment of $10,701 in January. What's the MTC fee and the full MTC?
That's for the maintenance programs. So the maintenance program is that $6 a month on our county-owned vehicles to get that fleet data. And then a portion of that, the way this is split out, we might need to change it, but a portion of the fleet maintenance fee on the middle line is actual for maintenance items that, so instead of the vendor charging us directly, that's going through the fleet maintenance program and they charge us. And then the fleet lease payment, that is the lease payment on the new vehicles, which part of that is prorated for December. They're prorating it based on the date the vehicles were picked up.
So this is for 11 vehicles?
This is for, I don't have the printout of that.
Back up here, it's,
Fund 11, that's the fleet fund.
we got 2 sheriff units, 1 park unit, 4 road and bridge, and 1 weed, so that's 4, 5, 6.
And I need to check on appraiser, we may have appraiser also.
That's for 8 vehicles.
And it's partial payment for 2 different months. So the appraiser is on here. We haven't picked up the ambulance vehicle yet. or these are kind of linked in, I haven't had a chance to look through this, so. Road and Bridge, so there's 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This looks like 7 for partial months. You're welcome to look through this.
I'm just trying to figure out what these are costing,
Right,
what they're costing every month per vehicle.
right, and we don't have, since we're still in the process of getting them, we don't have all of that information yet. We know the overall price of the vehicles, and we have, but all the pieces are still coming together, and then we still have we've got the build outs for the equipment. So it's just the beginning portion of this agreement. So I don't have what the consistent monthly payments will be yet. But you're welcome to look through this, obviously.
That's all right.
Okay. Does anybody else want to look at it?
I'll review it later if I can.
You better make us all a copy if you would.
Sure, I can send it to you.
That works better.
Any other questions? So I made a motion to approve it. Ever second it? Second by Kent. All those in favor?
Alright.
Aye.
5-0.
Okay, next we have some change orders. Next, I received a quote for a printer to replace the current printer I have in my office. That printer was purchased in 2017. I have the quote up on the screen. The printer itself is $12.89. There's a 3-year warranty for $481. There's an IPDS card we have to purchase with it because it's compatible with our program, and that helps with printing checks for $630. And then we have to purchase an extra tray for that for $304 for a total of $2,706. The funds were encumbered that you guys approved, and I would just like the go-ahead to be able to purchase that. And CDWG is on the state contract, so with them, we don't have to receive
That's the
additional
best
bids.
price then.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, zero.
Thank you. And that is all I have. Okay, in your packet, you just have a lot of information. I went ahead and sent the current agenda and public comment policy for you to look at. And then since I was sending in commission policies, we also have that tax sale policy, so I wanted to make sure you've all seen that. So those have been sent out just for your review. We've got the EMS, so ambulance statistics. You haven't seen those in a while, so those are in there. You also have the tonnage reports from Josh. And the last part of the packet is there is a grant. It's a mini grant that has been awarded to the health department. And so the amount is $2,650, and that is to be used for pack and plays and safe sleep training. That is the purpose of the grant. And so if the board is okay to accept that grant, we need a motion to accept it and authorize Krista to sign.
I'll make a motion to accept the grant for $2,650. Back in place.
Second.
And authorize Krista.
And authorize Krista to sign it.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Five zero.
Okay. That was all I had on administrative.
On the forward, Diane.
222 Marion, shall we back out?
One comment on the policies. It appears that the public comment policy has never been.
It was, I just couldn't get it was approved and I just couldn't get the one with a signature on it to send to you in the right format from the road. So,
Diane? On the stage.
I'm on the stage. Okay. Thank you, Jonah, for letting me speak. I appreciate that. So I'm going to be talking about the protest petition that happened down in the southern part of the county with Expedition Wind and some of the things that had happened during that whole process. And it is very deep, so I hope you bear with me. It's a lot of technical information. I did have to summarize it because there's so much information, so I did summarize it. The first thing I'm going to do is give a little bit of background as far as the county, what the county did, and that is Russ Avy's position, since he was the one that was mostly in charge of the protest petition. The information that I have is not my words, they are his words. And so I'm just brought the most pertinent parts of that out. I do have copies of all of this. If anybody really wants to study it and get all of it, I'll be happy to give it to you. So it's in a question and answer form, okay? It was from his under oath deposition. So the questions that were asked of him, number one was, what is your job? Of course, he says he's a planning consultant from Bachman Company in Wichita, Kansas. What is your education? His answer is he has a bachelor's in psychology and he has a master's in community planning from K-State. Describe the task that you performed in the protest petition. And first, he was to determine if each petition was valid. Then Mr. Huey, I think his name is Huey, or is it A.V.? Huey. Huey. He said, Mr. Huey, did you receive additional information in doing your petition, and if so, from whom? His answer is yes, from Blake Johnson. I received a series of shake files and a summary of the notification area. The shake files also included the right-of-ways which were given to by the county. He also received Expedition's 1,000-foot notification buffer. He then created his own notification buffer, but he created a proximity of the 1,000-foot. He said, who helped you prepare this petition? And his answer is Marion County. He said, Mr. Huey, did you manipulate any of the shapefiles you received when you created your own file? He said, only to the extent that I created the protest area. Mr. Huey, please list other jurisdictions. Now, this right here is a map of Expedition Wind, and it shows how they manipulated it and gerrymandered it by putting the 1,000-foot protest area within the leased land's boundaries, which is incorrect. Here's the next one. Mr. Huey, did you list any other procedures used by other jurisdictions in the state regarding protest petitions? His answer is, my experience with protest petitions is limited to one other county. And of course, we all know that was Reno County. So that's the next map, which in Reno County, he did the exact same thing, only differently. He followed state statute and the law. He put the 1,000-foot protest boundary, which is by statute, outside the boundaries of the leased land. That was done correctly. I personally approached him at one time and asked him why he put that one on the outside and why he put ours on the inside, because that is so inappropriate. His answer to me was, it was two different wind farms. Does he work for the wind farm? That's a good question. The next question that was asked of him is, where did you get the parcel information? He said, I believe Sharon and the appraiser's office. Mr. Huey, how were the boundaries created? His answer is, I have no knowledge. Mr. Huey, were the shapefiles surveyed? He said, I don't know. Mr. Huey, can you count on the call-by-call legal descriptions? And his answer is, yes, I did count on them. Mr. Huey, were the call-by-call descriptions created? Oh, I'm sorry. How were the call-by-call descriptions created? And he said, I don't know. Mr. Huey, who created the call-by-call descriptions? I don't know. Mr. Huey, what are the Sandy Knolls meets and bounds? He said, I never heard of them. Mr. Huey, who ensured your 1,000-foot buffer was actually 1,000 foot? And his answer is, I don't recall anybody verifying that, which of course they didn't. And he came to the commission on June 28th, 2019, with his report that said, so sorry you lost. You only got 6.12%, and you need a minimum of 20%. So sorry. Well, then we have the Landman report, which this is a professional company in Wichita. It is J. Fred Hamburg, Inc., Landman, and Christopher C. Bass is the project manager. The people down south knew that that project, their report of their protest was done properly. They worked on it for months. They are not stupid people down there. They knew what they were doing, plus they had attorneys help them to do it. So they decided afterwards they're going to hire and find out for sure the landman. So they hired the landman. It cost a lot of money. So Mr. Bass did an actual deposer. He was deposed, and he is going to testify to his findings. They spent 3 weeks up here in the Register of Deeds office, not the appraiser's office. Everybody knows the appraiser's office descriptions of property are not 100% accurate. They're close, but they're not accurate. You need to go directly to the deeds office. So Mr. Bass went to the deeds office, spent 3 weeks in there, and he was going to verify the list of the land owned by the plaintiffs of this lawsuit and the protesting landowners within the mapping area, using the Marion County Register of Deeds for legal descriptions and owner accuracy. Mr. Bass compared the lease memorandums, agreement forms, authorization forms provided by Expedition Wind, LLC, to the call-by-call list, and found numerous inaccuracies, to include missing lease memorandums not provided by Expedition Wind. Other inaccuracies included the official record of the Marion County Board of Commissioners. Legal descriptions provided by Expedition Wind contain numerous accuracies of section numbers, improper meets and bounds, and more. Such inaccuracies included, and please remember this, Bates number, Eitzen, 0000359 to 360. Bates number, Eitzen, 0000361. Bates number, MC 00107-110. Those items were missing. Legal descriptions that Expedition Wind provided contained inaccurate descriptions and missing documents, including Anders' memo and other missing memos, participating agreements, AA forms of Hannaford Trust. There's others, I probably won't list them by name. I have a copy of it, I'll give to you. But there were several. After careful reviewing the call-by-call list, line by line, Mr. Bass discovered that there were dozens of legal descriptions that contained inaccurate, missing, or otherwise misleading information. The GIS specialist, which is the program that Russ Avey used, was the GIS, which is what we have down here in mapping. This man's name is Brandon Rudkin. And he came in and he actually worked on the dimensions around Expedition Wind's 1,000-foot notification area. Brandon Rudkin states the following: the dimensions around Expedition Wind's 1,000-foot notification area were consistently not 1,000 feet. The lack of 1,000 feet buffer zone specifically deprived multiple owners of notice. A careful review of the shapefile Expedition Wind as part of the application contained a number of inaccuracies that led Russ Avey to improperly calculate the results of the protest petition numbers. The accurate results for the protest petition, 20% was required. 61.14% is what the protest petition should have revealed. That project should have never went through. At 61%, it would have went to a supermajority vote. Everybody knows Diane was going to vote no. Expedition Wind knew Diane was going to vote no. And they had to do everything they possibly could to make sure that didn't happen. After the protest petition was over, you see the map with all the green? See, then this other map, this one right here. So after the protest petition was over and everybody thought the people down there lost, this other map was irrelevant. That's no longer in use, where they had the squiggly lines and this is where we were going to use everything. Oh, now that's gone. Now they introduced this map. See, they're going to use the entire leased lands. That's the way Diamond Vista did theirs. That's the way Reno did theirs. None of this here gerrymandering took place in any of those other counties, because this, quite frankly, in my opinion, is gross negligence and corruption. I did ask you to remember those Bates numbers, and the reason I asked that is because I'm going to quote from the lawsuit, and this is what Expedition Wind did. The reason those particular Bates numbers are so important is that is lands that they intentionally left out of the protest petition. And that right there is from the lawsuit. It's on page 11, paragraph 55. It says, defendants Randy Eitzen, Tom Britton, Steve Butts, Brandon Butts, Michelle Butts are not presently owners of record of any lands located within 1,000 foot of the proposed area to be altered. Because they are not owners of the record of any lands located within the 1,000 foot area proposed to be altered pursuant to CUP PC 1901, the property of those defendants could not be counted towards the 20% or more of the total area. That's what Expedition Wind does. They're an exceedingly dishonest company. I don't even know why in the world we would do business with them. They cheated our people. They screwed them out of their properties. They live in horror all the time. And that's not all. Then there's more. On April the 29th, we had a commission meeting. And we came in to the commission meeting. After we were in for a little while, Pat Pelstrin came into the commission meeting, and he wanted a resolution. The resolution that he wanted was for road right-of-ways. Well, he gave his presentation, and we were going to meet with our attorney, Pat Hughes, after lunch. So he gave the presentation, and he said that he had worked with Tina and they got a resolution together. Well, Tina said that she did not do that. So, but anyway, then Chairman Becker said that we'll take it under advisement. We left for lunch. We came back from lunch. Pat Hughes was there ready for us. We immediately went into executive session. We came out of executive session. Chairman Becker started reading to the public the resolution to give all county road right-of-ways within the project area to Expedition Wind. The resolution on that right there is 2019-05. It was signed by Kent Becker, and Randy Dalkey. Diane Novak said, I'm not signing that. And I sleep very well because I did not sign it. The reason I did not sign it is because I did a little homework. And I know that those roads and those easements did not belong to the county. We gave land away that did not belong to us. All the people who have their utilities from Flint Hills RECA is a member-owned co-op. It is not a public utility. Those poles belong to the property owner. We gave lots of land away that we should not have. Now, what roads they used, I don't know. How many people down there don't even know that they're using their roads improperly? I don't know that either. But I do know that CORA requests were flying everywhere. We sent a CORA request, I didn't. People down there sent a CORA request to the county, to the state, to a Mr. Bill Haverkant, who is the chief person involved in Kansas Department of Transportation, Bureau of Right-of-Ways. He said that they cannot produce anything that they never had because they asked for it all started from when the old Highway 50 went to the new Highway 50. And all that conglomeration, Brad Jantz is well aware of it because I had talked to him about it as well. And he had told me that he had did a little research on it, and I'm best off just to leave that hornet's nest alone because it's a mess. Well, I did take his advice because I didn't have time to get involved in it. But anyway, it came back to the county, and I do have the CORA request where, of course, at the time, it was Bryce Goebel.
Excuse me, Diane, how much time? You need some
15
more time?
minutes. This is the last thing I have. I think I'm close to it.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, all right, okay.
No, you need
Yeah.
another 10 minutes.
So I don't think I have another 10, but I can if I'll take it. Anyway, Bryce Goebel sent back, and to the response of the CORA request about Pawnee and 110, he said that his response is for Pawnee Road and 110, as he stated, the county has no documentations on your request, that we have absolutely in our possession no documents to any easements on 110 or Pawnee, which only verifies that the county does not own that land. And they gave it to Expedition. I think all the corruption that is involved, I have so many text messages, emails, CORA requests, it blows your mind about everything that happened. It's such a disservice to all those people down there. It just breaks my heart that they have to live in that mess. I have pictures right here of the turbine. You all seen these. These are up in my area though. The black oil is already just running down the tubes. So I don't know if there's any type of justification or satisfaction that we can do to those people. Their lives are basically ruined. Their homes are in this area. You're not going to take them turbines down. Their resale value on their homes have declined tremendously. And I'll tell you, because even if they have a house that I really love and the price is right, you think I'm going to live in the middle of that? They just lost a customer. Because I'm not. And there's a lot of people out there that think just like I do. And this is what happens to those people. It's a shame. Tax-paying, good, hard-working people that contribute to our county. So, and then you might even think about trying to expand it a little bit further out to the west. Are you kidding? Why would you do that? It's crazy. My biggest problem that I have, though, of course, is with the way the planning and zoning handled that. There should have been more checks and bounds on Russ Avey, the people who were running this. This is a very skilled task to perform. A community organizer, he doesn't have this experience, he doesn't have the knowledge, and yet he had the lives of a lot of people in his hands with the decisions that he made. Although I will tell you, he was guided by Expedition Wind. Expedition Wind handed him all the information, and he gobbled it right up without checking it for himself. As far as I'm concerned, it's incompetence. So, and again, even on the county commission level, not for the county commission to do their homework and know what's going on, it's absolutely shameful. You got to be in charge over your people. You can't just trust them. Trust, a very important famous man once said, you trust but verify. And I've heard it over and over and over. I trust our planning and zoning. I trust our employees. I trust these. That's the words of a fool. Because this is the mess that we have. Again, this has been going on for years. I'm going to put it to rest now. Because now that people know, I am gonna pass out documents if anybody wants them. If you don't want them, that's fine. I understand there's nothing you can do anyway. I don't think there is. If there is, I sure would be interested in pursuing it.
Well, there might be.
Well, we should. I don't know. I don't know what it would be, but if we can do something about it, it would be great. But
The protest area for Reno County,
yes,
that's a state statute.
there's statute on protest petitions and how you do
Speak
that. And
that way.
the description is usually the land, the boundaries of the project are the lands within the leased lands. So if you lease an 80, and they do, that's the way the wind farms do, they do it up everywhere, they don't lease a little area in the middle of an 80, they lease the entire 80, okay? So that is the project area, is the entire 80. So what Expedition Wind did, as you can see, is they put their 1,000-foot buffer inside the 80, inside the boundaries. So nobody could protest. In fact, I even did ask Russ Avey that question too. Why would they do that? And his answer to me was, and I think it was when we were at the school, Becker, you were sitting aside of me, but I asked him, because I had these posters there, why would you put that inside there? And he said, well, surely to limit or eliminate the number of people to protest. Now, I think that right there is pretty telling. Who does he work for? In my opinion, the wind companies. He's doing absolutely no good whatsoever for Marion County. He's hurt our county a lot. There's been so much hate and discontent going on since this happened, and it could have all been eliminated if we just have honest people with integrity doing this important work for the people, for the people. So,
Diane?
thank you. Thank you.
Marcy's still here?
Let me bring it in. I know.
You can sit at the front table here.
Well, that's okay. You can sit it with me.
Dan's supposed to watch your back. Over there.
What?
I said Dan's supposed to watch your back, that's why he's over there.
Well, you know, emergency services, we don't like to be with our back to people. Okay, so inside your packets, you have some information from emergency management. The first part of that packet is the normal quarterly summary that we do. That quarterly summary begins with the director's activities, then it goes to the deputy director's activities, and it breaks it down per month, October, November, and December. This is just a quarter.
So the 214 lists, they had that in the mail. I didn't put that in their packet. They had the other parts
Seen where
in
you
the
fix the
packet.
coffee maker.
Yes. We put everything on here. I mean, every phone call. The only thing you won't see, which we put on there and highlighted it, is we don't include the response activities, because some of those response activities we can't put some information on there, so it's just easier to leave them off. But we do 214s every day in emergency management. One of the main reasons why we do them is because we're tied to, of course, FEMA. And when FEMA comes back and wants to know what stuff we did, 214 is an actual ICS form that they'll accept. Okay. So, you said they got them in the mail?
Yeah, in their mail
Started
folder.
right here.
We
Okay.
started on the year in review. It's in the packet.
All right. Was there
Everything got in
any questions on the quarterly report stuff? Or that stack?
Well, it's like 20 pages and we got to get 15 minutes before the meeting, so.
Well, if you have questions, all you have to do is email me. So,
You're busy.
yeah, we are. Okay, the next page, was the year in review. That's the one that started with the over contract hours statement. We summarized the quarterly reports, the achievements, the events that requested assistance from EM, the exercises we did, the different meetings that we had with the different organizations, the presentations we did, and the trainings we attended. Based on this information, it's as you can tell, I mean, each quarter of these, it's about 25 pages. So we tried to summarize it as best we could and take those 25 down to those particular areas. There's a lot of extra stuff and a lot of other things that we did, but to give kind of a year-end summary. So, is there any questions about the year in review?
I just have one question. I'm getting a lot of complaints from constituents about, and I've observed it myself, about drones flying over all hours of the night, all hours of the day. Is there anybody in this county that's actually monitoring who's operating those drones?
No, that's an FAA thing. That is not a county thing. You'll notice that there's,
Who's flying these drones?
nope, that's federal government. That would be, you probably have more context for that than we do. Emergency services is limited on what drones they can fly, when they can fly drones, and at what height they can fly drones. You'll notice that the Adjutant General isn't a big fan of drones and has strict regulations for us. So if it's emergency services side, there's a bunch of rules, statutes, and requirements that the Adjutant General has laid out for us. But for civilians, that's federal, that's FAA, that's airspace.
A lot of these drones are too big to be civilian drones. I mean, you can see them from several miles away. There's not somebody flying a drone over.
We had the same issues and it appears, I don't know about the UPs using them, flying their tracks with them now. Whether they're flying them at night, I don't know. But
Pipelines use them
I've
too.
noticed a few of them in the vicinity of railroad.
There is one emergency services that is authorized to have a drone, and that's Hillsborough right now. They are working on it at the sheriff's office, but the only emergency services under all of our rules is Hillsborough Fire. And they have assisted with search and rescues, they assisted with hotspots, they've assisted with body retrieval, things like that with their drone.
I have neighbors that are using them to spot spray in their pastures in my area. And they're 10 by 10. They're big.
Yeah.
They're carrying probably 100 gallon of water. But it's a pretty economical way to do the spot spraying that's needed. And
That's not an emergency services, we have different rules, but.
And I don't think they're flying them at night.
There are agriculture applicators using them too, and they're doing it at night, I don't know. I've seen them during the day.
Now KFS does have a drone that they will use for spray applications during fires.
Kansas Fire Service, is that KFS?
Kansas Forestry Service, sorry. But they won't use it on ones like ours. The drones in there, we use Tanker 95 because it can drop more water over a wider area. So if we request air assets from the state, it's through Kansas Forestry Service and it's Tanker 95. We never request a drone because they can't even hold a Bambi bucket. And I don't, the drones are huge. So if we're gonna do something spot, we use a Heinen Brothers plane or a helicopter with a Bambi bucket on it for spot for wildfires. But I haven't, in all my time here, I've never requested with air assets, I've only requested Tinker 95. Never requested a drone. So, and that's up to the incident commander on what it is that they want, but with the state, I've only requested the Tinker. Okay, after the year in review, we have a map of the incidences that we did have in Marion County that we were called out to. One of the things to point out on this, that's the ones that we didn't get 1022 from scene. So this is just the ones that we were actually there doing, assisting in some type of response capability. So these are not listed on my quarterly reports, anything like that, but that gives you kind of a rundown of what we respond to the most in emergency management. The other things not included on there is when we're tracking incidents, like the weather-related one, you'll only see that it's only 19%, but that's 19% response. That's when I actually get in the truck, and because it has insurance on it, I have to put in my time. But otherwise, that's not tracking the storms. Dan and I will be up at 3 o'clock in the morning tracking a storm system, which may or may not materialize. We're doing Facebook posts. We're doing information, just tracking. Like right now, we're tracking possible fire danger that's coming up on Friday. None of that stuff you'll actually see in when we talk about responding to incidences. That's kind of outside of that. So response means we've gotten in the truck and we're on scene assisting. If we get 1022, we don't put it in Web EOC. So, any questions about incidents? Okay, the other thing that we do every year, which you guys know based on the burn resolution, we track fire weather. And on very high fire days, based on recommendations from the fire chiefs, we either shut down burning or limit burnings so many hours before a very high day or an extreme day. So this is, fire chiefs had asked that we track that every year. And that's what these are. These are the exact posts that went out on Facebook with the images that went out to the fire chiefs of what it looked like at that point in time. So you can kind of see based on that map what percent of the year that we shut down burning. One of the things that they talked about during the burn resolution rewrite is how many days are we actually talking. You'll look at that last page, May, June, July, August, September, October, and November, we didn't have any. So you, for 6 months straight, you could have burned whatever you wanted to. We didn't cut down burning at all in the county during those times. So that's something that fire chiefs have asked of emergency management to track. We also didn't have any in January as well, so you can add another month on there, but, that's for the very high fire days. That's another thing.
Still using the National Weather Forecast for this projection mainly?
National Weather Service.
For these predictions.
Currently, we're using the Grassland Fire Index because that's what's written in the burn resolution. K-State is working with the Masonet system. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with Chip Redmond, but he's a meteorologist for Kansas State University. He's trying to develop, they're trying to get enough history of background and data behind it, but he's trying to develop something on the Masonet side of it for fire weather. He does have, the Kansas Masonet does have a fire weather page that we use that for forecasting, as well as using the Grassland Fire Danger Index. We're sticking with Grassland simply because it does include the curing factor in there, but Masonet's actually going to include more of the moisture content in the soil itself and has more agricultural applications that we can actually take a look at too. That is not a product that they have up and running yet. It's just currently in, I would say, they're currently working on it.
I know there's fires within the city limits of Wichita and Hutch and various areas that really don't have that within our smaller cities. I don't think here in Marion County too as much.
Yeah, we have 943 square miles, so most of ours
Most of
is,
those grassland fires.
Yeah, grassland is the main one that we were looking at.
And that Maisonette, that's the weather tower grant that Marcy's been pursuing.
And I'm trying to get a weather tower, or weather station here in Marion County. Because right now, most of our weather information comes out of Newton. And Newton and the Flint Hills, you've got a lot of land in between those two areas. So the moisture content coming out of Newton is different than that moisture content in the Flint Hills. And when you have all those fuels in the Flint Hills that you don't have in Newton, you can have a fire get out of control really quick. And as you can tell from last year, yeah, we got a lot of rain, which means that we have a lot of growth, which means that we also have a lot of fuels out there right now. And so if something gets out of hand, that's one of the things that we kind of look at is what is that curing factor? What is, how much grasses we actually got out there? How much brush is actually out there? And how is that going to affect our response as well as fire behavior? That's the big thing we're looking at. Where is it gonna go?
We have a front that's moving 50 or 60 miles an hour as opposed to 20 or 25, then it triples the time. I mean, we're talking 3 or 4 or 5 hours difference during the day before that gets there and increases a certain area. I think where we broke that into 3 areas or whatever helped with that scenario, even if it did get clear across the state. So.
Well, and these days, this little graphic, the reason why fire chiefs are asking me to keep track of this stuff is because that's a trigger. The minute that it's triggered for a very high, there are protocols already in place of things that change on the emergency response side. So if a very high has been sent out, that triggers some different protocols. For example, one of those protocols is that the fire chiefs wrote is for dispatch. The minute we get a grass fire on a very high fire day, you don't send out one department, you send out 3. And it is also protocol that once 3 have been dispatched, EM is dispatched at the same time. Because odds of that fire, especially on a very high fire day, with the wind speeds and everything else that's taken into consideration with the grassland, that response could need state assistance very quickly. So that's one of those reasons why we kind of have, during very high times, we have.
Puts on a very high alert rather than a moderate alert, I think is how we want it.
And very high is when, on you guys' side of it, we actually have methods in place that on very high days, we ask whoever the chair is at the time to have their cell phone on them. Because if you get a phone call from me, odds are I'm asking for a declaration. Because I cannot ask for state assistance until that declaration is verbally in place. I don't need a written one based on statute. I just need verbal in order to request air assets or something like that on a fire. There are still regulations and requirements, and this past Saturday we just had the big meeting with Kansas Forestry, the state fire marshal, Chip from KU or K-State. Don't tell him I said that. And from Chip, we just had a half a day out at the county lake where we were discussing all these different protocols and the things that they can and can't do and the things you can and can't request and how you request them.
I think Lester said they had some training out at the county lake this weekend or Saturday somewhere.
It was EM and all the fire chiefs. It had the Kansas Division of Emergency Management was there as well, giving a presentation on an AFMAG. Then we also had Kansas Forest Service was out there. They were the ones talking about the air assets. We had the state fire marshal out there talking about the different task forces and what types of things they have lined up. And then Chip did what we call the wildland outlook, which means where we can look at, we're gonna have the most fires based on data from 2025 and projecting out 2026.
The declaration, does it have to be the chairman or any commissioner?
From my understanding, a verbal has to be the chair. And then the chair brings it back after the incident, then I write up the information and then it's written up into the actual declaration and it has to be approved at the next commission meeting. Now, sometimes,
You have 7 days to ratify it.
yeah,
That's commission.
And if the chairman's unavailable, I believe the vice chair can do that.
so, but I can't ask for anything from the state. Now, the state isn't our first phone call. We have mutual aid agreements in the county. We have mutual aid from surrounding counties. So depending upon where that fire might be, we might be calling in Harrington, or we might be calling in Dickinson County, or Morris County, or Chase County, or, you know, Harvey County, or Butler County, depending upon where it's at. So we actually go local, then we go what we call regional, or those connecting to Marion that can be, you know, respond pretty close. And then we go to state. Now, the one exception to that rule is if you've got 60 some or 55 to 60 mile an hour winds, you might have a problem getting a plane. So we might be calling
Climate
in.
conditions, basically.
Yeah, because they can actually tell us, no, you can't have it. There's been times where we had the Middle Creek fire up there where we were told no because Harrington had it going to a city and we didn't. We had ours going into just farmland, and they look at people over cattle. So that's sometimes we can even be told, no, we don't have any air assets available, or
I'm
air
surprised they
assets can't
stopped that
fly.
fire that day where they did.
What?
I was surprised they were able to stop that fire where they did that day, and it
It
didn't,
was a very long day.
it easily ended up in Manhattan or beyond.
So
So the resources worked pretty good that day to get it out where they did.
Anybody have any questions? Who's here? Thank you.
all right.
Lots of information.
Yeah, and if you have questions later on, after looking at something, you can just email or call, just let me know. Cause I can, if you need an answer on it, I can email it to you, no problem. So,
Thanks for doing what you do to keep us safe.
no problem. We'll put the chair back out.
And next time you come back, don't say so much.
Yeah.
So I think that some of the, I'm not sure what all Brad has for you. Some would be an open session, if he has things prepared, and then if we need to have an executive, we can do that.
Fred, you online now?
I am. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, real good.
I'd start with the executive session. In this case, instead of it's noted as contract negotiations, I would list it based upon the items to be covered as potential litigation first. Time-wise, probably 15 minutes.
Hey, Brad, how would you like to do that? Do you want me to send you a meeting link and you join remotely through the meeting, or do you want to call in?
I'd really prefer to just leave myself where I am because it gets complex quickly to get something else set up.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to send you a new meeting link for the executive session,
Oh.
or you can use the phone.
If it's easier, I can call in, whichever is gonna be the simplest.
Okay. Let me get that ready to go.
Yeah, just in case it does it.
I'm not sure I can do that from here. Yeah,
Just have him call in.
can you just call in?
Yes.
Okay.
What phone number?
Do you wanna call the main phone number? Do we have a phone in here, right? Yeah, 620-382-2185.
Okay, I'll call that right now.
Okay, thanks.
I move we recess in executive session for potential litigations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B of 15 minutes.
Keep reading what's on the page.
For consultant with our attorney in matters deemed privileged under attorney-client privilege with the board, Brad and Tina. 15 minutes until 1:45. Resume an open session in commission chambers.
Okay, he seconded.
Favor?
Okay. Is everything on? Okay, we're back on.
Back in order again. Taken. And we're gonna go into executive session again. I move that we recess into executive session to discuss potential litigations to KSA 75-4319B. Was consultant with attorney, matters deemed privilege under attorney-client privilege with the board, Tina. And Brad, oh yeah, I'm sorry. 15 minutes. 250. 202.
Second.
That's why you just did.
Open sessions to resume back in commission chambers following the closed session.
Okay, someone seconded it.
Second.
Yeah, it's getting house.
All in favor?
Aye. I'm just standing here.
Okay.
Okay. No action was taken. We'll go back in the session.
Do we want to do the executive session for contract negotiation now, or do we need another one for potential litigation?
I will leave that to the board if there's anything else.
Seeing nothing.
You want to do the contract negotiation discussion?
I'd move we go to that.
Okay. There you go.
I'm not hearing anything in case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're paused for a second.
Getting organized.
I move that we recess into the executive session to discuss contract negotiations pertinent to KSA 75-4319B. 2, for consultation with our attorneys in matters deemed privilege and attorney-client privilege within the board. Brad, Tina, for how many minutes?
15 or 20.
I'd say 15 again, maybe?
For 15 minutes until 2:21. Let's resume back to Commission Chambers following closed session.
In favor?
Aye. Give me exercise.
Me too.
Okay, back in session now, no decisions was made.
Let's wait 4 more seconds to announce that.
Oh,
All right, now you can.
we're back in session now, no decision was made. Ready for commissioners' comments or anything else? Any more business?
Yeah, I got one. I'd like to add the south side of Hillsborough, like it'd be the 180th and Indigo property that the CUP was revoked, and ask for it to be on next week's agenda so that we can see what we can do about addressing that property.
I think Brad has sent them letters.
I can add it to the agenda and then you can have a discussion about it. And
That allows Sharon a week to get her thoughts together and
I can get information together.
if we have any recourse at all.
When's Isaac gonna be here on a regular quarterly? Said he's gonna be in there somewhere in the near future, talking with us.
Yeah, everybody gets a chance there.
Yeah, I'm not sure without, and I already shut my thing down.
Anybody got any reports? I went to the Prairie View quarterly meeting, and they're now in Marion and Hillsborough schools doing in-school patients. And they're real happy with the response they're getting from people. It's helping. There's one more sheriff deputy on the board too, so law enforcement goes to the quarterly meetings. Seems to be expanding to trying to help the kids more. You know, so
Well, it'll be next meeting, now that we've reorganized the board. Typically, we go through outside board,
committees.
who's on what board, and who's gonna stay on that board, and who's gonna shift. So,
And some of those boards have different terms than, that don't necessarily correspond with the commissioner's year, so, but we'll bring all that next time for you to review. I'm trying to answer your question about,
Well, the question is I personally have ordered a big rhino. Isaac's good with putting it out at the playground there just east of Kingfisher. And I guess we would have to approve to put it there. And whether I do this on myself or any of the commissioners would put in $80 to $100 to pay for it. It's probably $400 for the rhino, $100 for sand and put under it. Isaac said he's more than happy to have it there and help with whatever we need to install it there. So just like to, at some point, we approve that we can put that there with a good, I mean, it's the City of Marion's project, but I think it'd be in good faith that we put one out there. That's a good logical place in my opinion. I'll do it on my own financially if I need to, and if anybody wants to help donate to it, they're fine. Jonah said something about transient tax. I just assume we did it on our own and not be criticized of what we spend taxpayer money for.
Isaac's, his quarterly report is February 2nd.
So if we approve it that day with him here, would that be appropriate with everybody? Make it official.
I don't think it actually ends up being two issues then. I mean, if people just wanna do it and fund it individually with Mike, that's outside of the commission.
But we have to approve to put it there.
we approved the placement already with staff's direction. So it's actually up to the staff on
That Isaac decide what.
where each department, where they allow them to be placed.
Well, that's why I need approval for as far as I'm concerned. That we allow where we put it.
Anything else? I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey, Mike, can I ask you a quick question? Probably any commissioner